Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Whew. Besties, I know I said I was not going to recap the reunion, but I did. But mm, this is what I know. If they do not recast for next season, I will not recap the season 20. They have got to shake this cast up. Tamara is insufferable. It is time for her to go. Gretchen, I like to see people without certain people. So I would like to see Gretchen maybe one more season without Tamara so we can stop going back 15 years ago. We have got to stop going back. Even with Tamara and Shannon, we have got to stop going back. The way she was trying to shut Shannon down, the whole reunion, I'm like, ooh, oh my goodness. So we'll get into it, honey. We'll get into it. And I got a question. Why is Jen in the first chair? Ooh. But welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19. It's episode 18, reunion part 1. Okay, look like anyway. Drop down. How would you rate it? It was okay. I'm just no, it was so. Come see, come saw. It was not okay. I don't see a need for 3 parts. They pretty much, yeah, eh. But drop down in the comments, besties. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on. That way you know each and every time I post my content. Hey, Katie. It was so good to see her. So, Andy says hello to everybody. We find out that Heather lived. They taped in L.A. They taped the reunion in L.A. So Heather is only 7 minutes away from the place. From the place. Orange County is a drive for her, and she jokes about joining Beverly Hills cast because it's closer. Because Orange County is like an hour out, I believe. Let's see. Gina looks good. She worked on her weight, lost 25 pounds. Emily is doing good in her real estate. Tamara got reconstructive surgery, so she said, go ahead and lift up the girlfriends too while you're at it. Because when you get surgery, you always say, well, while you're at it, do this one also. So Katie is there because she wants to say some things that she didn't get to say. Yeah, because they kicked you off the show. And it is giving the R word. It is. I'm sorry. It just reeks R word. It does. Tamara's in a good mood because Teddy's last scan showed 0 tumors detected. Very good. God bless you, Teddy. And can we stop talking about her? She's not even on the cast. Like, stop talking about Joe and Vicky and Teddy. Like, goodness gracious. So Tamara went to Alexis's and John's wedding, and it was beautiful. She was kind of hesitant to talk about it in front of Shannon. I was like, that was so humbling. But then she was shutting Shannon down. Shannon says, I saw some pictures. It looked great. And I'm like, wow, it's just wow. And even with Alexis, why are we bringing her up? She's not on the show. So see why we need a new cast. We need new people. Like, these people have run their course. It's time to go. I vote for definitely Tamara. Shannon can go. What's she talking about? Heather did good this season. She really did good. So she can stay. We need some new people. Okay. Okay. So Shannon said, no, it looked beautiful. Okay, so Tamara explains she's still going to therapy. Are you? Because I couldn't tell. I can't tell, girl. But she's trying to become non reactive when she gets upset. So Andy says he didn't think she was calmer this season because she thought she was. She was like, "You didn't think so?" No, Tamara, you didn't hollered and screamed at Gretchen every chance you got. Remember at the defense class, you got up in her face, giving her the middle finger. She had to hold you. She had to hold you back before you hit her. Like, no, girl, you went off a lot. And that's just one. What about in New Orleans? You went off a lot, girl. Okay. Gina says, in therapy, things get worse before they get better because you're raw. Okay, whatever, Gina. And I agree with Jen. Jen says, as an adult, if you want to change, do it. I'm like, okay, Jen, I like this season's Jen. I didn't like last season's Jen. I like this season's Jen. So Tamara says that Teddy's illness derailed her from her growth in therapy. Okay, so leave her alone. Okay, so like we're saying, your therapy wasn't working. So Shannon asks, where was her grace when she was derailed last season? Ciao. Very good question, Shannon. She said, I was having a very hard time in my life. Where was my derelation? My derelation. Yep, I gave it a new word. So, you know, Tamara, I don't know what they said, but whatever. Oh, they did go back and forth because I remember Shannon was saying, I'm not trying to go back there. I'm just bringing up facts. When you're going there, you went there, you're going there. Then Shannon calls Tamara. All right, Tamara, grudge. Child, Emily said, did you say grudge and not judge? Oh, I liked all the ladies liked it. They liked that Tamara grudge, child. So Alexis thought Shannon was trying to ice Tamara out to get her off the show. Because Shannon did that to her. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Alexis. First of all, sweetheart, you were just a friend to the show. You only came to clear up the John Jensen story. That's the only reason why you were on our screens last season. Shannon did not ice you out, Alexis. Your little part was done and over, okay? So Shannon denies it. Katie says Shannon called Alex, the producer, and asked him to give Gretchen Katie's orange. I was like, say what now? Uh-huh. She said she heard from Jen that Shannon said she was uncomfortable taping with Katie. There go that Karen stuff. That R word. There go that. It's giving, what's Katie's word? Undertones. It's giving undertones of the R word. Um, they said Alex was in Andy's ear talking about, no, we didn't have that conversation. So they lying again. Katie's lying again. Back on stage and still now, Katie, see, you've been missing all the season. Stop lying. You might not come back. So Heather admits she doesn't trust Tamara because of her inconsistencies and her unpredictable nature. So they go back to that. So Tamara hears her and she will work on it. Tamara, you've been saying that since we've seen you. Like Tamara is one of them people who just gonna apologize to just do it again. She doesn't quite understand an apology means change behavior. She does not get that. Okay. Shannon tells Tamara that she has an ego and that's what her problem is. So, honey, they hollering and screaming, going back and forth and back again. Then Andy says, Tamara, you threw people's secret in their faces. Like, you done that. They ran the tape back to season 15. Why are we going back? So Shannon tells a former castmate that she may go to AA because alcoholism runs in her family because her dad used to hit the bottle heavily. So then this season, she says, you know, she acts like she cares about her dad. So we caught Tamara in the kitchen talking to Eddie, talking about, and she just acting like she cares about her dad. And it's like, what? Because he had a drinking problem. So he's 94 years old today. Him and Shannon are very close because I believe Shannon does have like some other siblings, I remember, but her dad tells Shannon that she's the reason he's alive and he looks forward to seeing her, and now she's crying and she says this is the last time she's going to cry on stage, and Tamara apologizes Ugh, unsufferable. And so it's like Tamara only apologizes just to do the exact same thing to you over and over and over again. And Tamara, anyway, there's a question. Would Tamara have less problems if she took accountability? You know, the viewers call in with questions. And so Jen tells Tamara she needs to realize that it just might be her. Like, when are you going to realize, all these issues? Maybe it is me. And so Tamara says, that's why I'm in therapy. Yeah, but it's not working because you are derailing. Girl, stop wasting that therapist's money, honey. Well, no, not the money. Stop wasting your money and that therapist's time. If you ain't gonna go and get the tools and do your work, Tamara, just Jen says patterns need to change. I said, I like me some Jen. So Tamara says she came today to stay calm, take accountability, apologize, and move forward. Okay, Tamara, moving to Katie. Just back to Katie and recording Shannon and the lie detector test chat. And that's all of her story, right? Or those two issues. So she was touched by all the fans that were rallying for her when they kicked her off the show. She was really touched by that. Emily says Katie played the Shannon recordings to Alexis. And, Katie says she didn't. And so, and she said, well, if I did, tell Alexis to tell me what was said if that was true. Shut up. So then Andy was like, I could play the recordings right now. And honey, Katie was like, no, girl, Katie, you need to go too. So Tamara says Shannon recorded Vicky too long time ago. Shannon says it was for Vicky's safety and I deleted it. And then it says Katie was recording me and it was an invasion of my privacy. So then Emily apologizes for bringing up Katie's custody battle. When she lost her kids 12 years ago when she was in her late 20s or whatever. She was hot as fire about that. Katie's like, why would you bring that up? Like, why are you pulling out my past? Like, I was having a troubled time. I didn't have no place to live and all that. So Emily tells Katie that, I know that you use bloggers and podcasters and content creators to fight your battles. You bring it up. She was saying, why don't you bring it up to us? Bring it to us instead of going to them. And she was like, well, you can be mad. You can be mad. And my bad for bringing that up. So Katie apologized for how she went about it. Well, I'm sorry that I did it that way. But remember, Katie thinks that these podcasters, these content creators, and these bloggers are her friends. Katie lives, I already explained to y'all Katie's mindset with being adopted by a white family and not having connection to her Korean side. Like, she has a false sense of reality. She lives there. And that's probably been her safe space, her survival mode, and she's still there. Jen calls Katie a con artist. Child. So Emily allegedly set Katie up with that lie detector test. Emily says, Katie, I ain't got that much power to do stuff like that. I did not. And I already know you're a liar. I didn't need to do that to know that you be lying. Honey, clock that T. So then the viewer had pointed out that Katie talks a lot of crap in her confessionals. I'm like, they all do. That's what the confessionals are for. They all talk heck of crap in the confessionals, especially Emily. So Katie was like, yeah, I should talk. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. So then Tamara alludes that Emily does it too. And so she said, oh, you talking about me? Yes, Emily. All that crap, especially last season, if I can go back. Last season, child, Emily should have been beat up by everybody. She talked about Jen like a dog. She talked about Shannon, Tamara. Oh my God, who else is on? She talked about everybody. So Oh, Shannon tries to take up for Emily and says Tamara does it too and does. Tamara's like, shut up, Shannon, shut up. Just shut up. Stop talking. You talking about girl, child, child. They need to go. Oh, Tamara says Emily says she's not a girl's girl. Well, you said I'm not a girl's girl and all that. You said I ain't got no friends. And you said I just can never be a friend to nobody. And yeah, well, Tamara, what do you have to say for yourself? Huh? What do you have to say? Because I believe her. I agree with Emily. But Emily apologizes, child. So then Gina apologizes to Katie about the comment about, oh, she's going to be wearing Asian designers. She says she was not trying to be the R word. She was just big up in you, supporting your kind. That was just a vibe. She liked that. And Katie thanked her, and she said she didn't call her the R word, it just had undertones to it. You got to be careful because, then she got to talking about how, she's the only lady of color on the cast for the last 18 years, and that's a big deal to her. And so then Katie explains that her and Kiki spoke about it because, they're women of color and this is a big deal to be on this cast and all that. And so then they discuss their kids. So the viewers were hitting up Emily's inbox, her DMs, recommending or referring, telling her that Luke may have pandas. And this was due to him having a bad case of strep throat, and it badly affects his brain. Something happens from the throat to the brain. It expands. It's harder for him to, and that's why they think he was like speaking like a baby and all that kind of stuff. So they said, yeah, go check because he may have pandas. And it affects them worse when they get strep throat or stuff like that because he's on a spectrum. So he's going to go get laser surgery to correct some things. I don't want to speak on it because something about, I think they're going to keep it from where if something happens again, let's just say strep throat, it won't be able to go to his brain and affect. They're going to do some laser surgery somewhere in there. Okay, good. We wish you luck and success and God bless. Um, for anything, it'll correct the side effects. And so she thanked all the viewers who told her about pandas, and that was good. I'm glad she had that. She could just see this is a good way and a good thing. This is why it's good. I can't get my words out to put this on your platform. We were mad at Emily for just putting Luke out there like that, right? Maybe her way of doing it just seemed so ooh, like grasping for straws. It's like you just came onto the season now. Luke. It was just I don't know. But I'm glad she was able to get these, advice from others. It was really that's what the platform is about. That's what the connection is about. The people was like, girl, he got pandas. Go and get it checked out. Because nobody else was telling her, right? So Jen's son, he graduated from the Marines, and child, something happened to him, and he didn't pass out again, child. They was like from the tattoo, he passed out at the tattoo parlor. I'm like, y'all better check him because I don't know. Tamara reconnected with Sydney after all these years, honey. She's crying. She came over to the house to go out to eat with Sophia, and Tamara came outside. They talked for 30 minutes about life, hugged, blah, blah, blah. That was nice. It's been a long time. Sydney has been ditching Tamara for a long time. Oh, look, here comes Gretchen, honey. She joins the cast. She's on the stage, honey, and her hair looks nice. Much better than all them Stepford wives do hairdos, okay? So Eddie asks, what do you do for a living? I'm like, huh? They want to know how you been paying your bill. They coming for Slade. This is a setup for Slade. So she says she's a digital marketer. She's an influencer. And she's like, go to my page. I got a code on there for y'all. So if you shopping or whatever, she hustling, okay? So, they asked about Slade. He's a consultant, whatever that means. He consults with her. He's her consultant. He sits on the Liberace board because he knows somebody. And what does that mean? We need more context. She says she had reservations of coming back on the show, of course. They asked Tamara, why did she bring Joe onto the show? Because you ain't brought her on the show no other time. And Tamara's like, well, she's my friend. And then she told Gretchen, I'm not here to serve you. Ooh, Tamara. Did you learn that in therapy? Child. So Gretchen is like, why do you blame Tamara for Slade not working for 20 years? See what I'm saying? They was coming for Slade. Gretchen says she's sorry. The public domain can bring them harm and has and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, they said, well, what about, Slade has been arrested before. Maybe his record kept him from working, honey. I'm saying no, child support kept Slade from working. Slade will work, but you got to pay him under the table. So they was just like, yeah, maybe him getting arrested has something to do with him not getting a job. So then they asking about what does he do to contribute to the household. Sounds like he don't do nothing. Sounds like she wears the pants. Honey, we knew that already. Gretchen says she proposed to Slade only because his son was sick and she wanted Slade to, she wanted to show him some love and all that. And Andy says, oh, he thought she did that because she wanted Bravo to pay for the wedding. And she was like, no. But she says she is ready to get married. So they talked about Tamara and this this pop star rumor. So Shannon tries to jump in again, honey. Tamara shuts her up again. Shut up. And Shannon shuts up. So Emily, why did you, run and tell Tamara about the pop star and blah, blah, blah. So she said, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they were going backwards, because Gretchen and Tamara, they made up on the beach, and and so then Gretchen said that she shouldn't have said it at all, and then and Emily says Tamara, does the same kind of mess, bring up stuff, and she brought up Jen having an affair, and yeah, and so then today she brought up, Shannon recording Vicky, so it's like, Tamara, Tamara deserved it. So Shannon and Tamara, oh gosh, they go back and forth and back again, and then they bring up how Tamara said Gretchen had an affair too with her then fiance. Oh, we don't care about these history books. These women are like walking encyclopedias at this point. Do y'all even know what encyclopedia is, bestie? How old are you? So Tamara says she was fed up. Gretchen says that, I bring up stuff because you do it first. And they're, Gretchen and Tamara, that's what Gretchen was saying. Like, I bring up stuff because you do it first. So Gretchen and Tamara at this point, they are just very tit for tat. That's how Gretchen has been. And that's something in her personality that I don't like. Like she said, if she say, I'm going to say, if you go talk about Sam or talk about, like, girl. So then Tamara loses her calmness. And baby, that was the end of the episode. End of part 1. Baby, it was boring. Boring as I don't know what. If I do part 2 and part 3, besties, I'm not going to take notes. I'm just going to watch the show and I'm just going to get on here and tell you what I thought. And so I may do part 2 and 3. It may be done on the weekends. I'm about to get busy. The holidays are coming up. It's my busy season. Thursday night is not the vibe. Or maybe it will be easier if I do just watch it and then come on and talk. Maybe I can bring it to you. I'll try. If not, just know, forgive me, offer me grace, and just know that I'm busy, okay? And I'm coming. I don't know when, but it'll be there by Sunday. But besties, that was the end of part 1. The dresses were not dressed. I don't like these colors. I don't like these dresses. They said Gina's dress was the best. I think I like Katie's dress and I like Gretchen's dress. They said Gina was the best. Ugh, I don't know, honey. I just don't like the colors. But besties, hey, your turn. Share, comment, like, subscribe, notification bell. And I'll be back with another recap. It'll be the Braxtons, I believe. Yes, honey. The Braxtons. Bye, besties.